Why is everybody saying that the Kenya Kwanza government, the UDA government, the Ruto presidency, is going to end up being a dictatorial presidency? It sounds like it is a bit unfair. Yeah, because show me the evidence to prove that this is going to end up being a dictatorship. That may not be very easy to do. Yeah, apart from the recent pronouncement by the Fafi legislator about scrapping the presidential term limit. The truth is, there's very little else to show and to prove that this government is going to be dictatorial. But still Kenyans persist. Many people believe it's going to be dictatorial. Why? This may appear to be very unfair. Or is it? What is it that these Kenyans are seeing that other Kenyans are not seeing? Yeah, so that they talk the way they are talking. In my opinion, this view, which is gathering a lot of momentum by the day, is mostly coming from older Kenyans. Yeah. Although it is also true that younger Kenyans are joining in, frustrated and disillusioned younger Kenyans who probably expected too much from this government and they're not seeing it, yeah, especially in the broken promises. In the first 100 days we'll do this, in the first 100 days we'll do that. They're disillusioned, frustrated, and therefore they're joining these older Kenyans. But the truth is, this has mainly come from older Kenyans. Why older Kenyans? Because older Kenyans were there when President William Samoei Ruto was starting his political career. They saw him quickly climb up the ranks. They saw what happened over the years. They saw the way he played his politics, etc., etc. And therefore, they're in a very good position to predict what kind of presidency we're going to have, even before the pronouncements of the legislator from Fafi. Yeah. Now I have a very super sensitive documentary, a collection of several videos that will just blow your mind. It's titled Ruto Dark Secrets. And if you take in this particular collection of videos, you will understand what the old people are seeing, because it reveals a lot of sensitive stuff. Now, it is available in my latest offer for a very short time only, for only $6.99 only, or Kenya shillings 699. And of course, if you go for it, you'll get 2 months free membership to my weekly intelligence briefings. I highly recommend it. I believe you can see details on your screens right now. It's also repeated in the description area below. But the long and short of it is that a leopard in Kenya can easily get mud on its coat, yeah, which will hide its spots. And you may see this particular leopard and you will not know what it is. You will not understand, because mud has covered it. Therefore you can't tell what kind of animal it is. But sooner or later, that mud will fall off. Maybe it will even rain, and the spots will come out very clearly. I believe this is the situation we are facing in Kenya right now, politically. The spots of the leopard are coming out, are very visible, and this is happening so fast. You'll not believe it. Maybe even faster than the speed of light, politically speaking. Because in politics, usually, things take time to evolve. It takes people time to gauge what kind of government they have. Like in 2013, if I can take you back, Kenyans gave the government of Uhuru and Ruto time to settle in. As they observed them carefully and what they were doing, it took time. It took almost 1.5 years before people started forming an opinion. But this one, it didn't take 1.5 weeks. People are already forming opinions. I also believe it has a lot to do with the times we live in. We live in very hard times. There are so many problems facing Kenyans. Kenyans are under pressure to eat. Kenyans are under pressure to eke out a living, from whatever they're involved in. Things are tough. And the mood of the country is that Kenyans want quick solutions, which of course are not always practical. However, that is what Kenyans want. Because kama nyumba imefungwa because you've not paid rent, you cannot give it time for a solution to come. You want a solution like yesterday, so that you get back into your house, which has been locked because of your rent arrears. If your dear children have been chased away from school because they have not paid their fees, they have not paid for food, you don't have time to wait for a solution. You need an immediate solution to get your children back to school, etc., etc. In my opinion, this is the very wrong time, the worst of times to be President of Kenya. That is the truth. Now, it seems that the UDA government is oblivious of all these facts I've put on the table. Or if they're aware, it seems that they've ignored them all. Because when you have a senior senator who is known to be close to the powers that be, Senator Samson Cherargei coming out and saying that he's going to support the removal of presidential term limits, how do you think Kenyans are going to take it? Yes, the government has denied. Yes, the chief whip has denied. Yes, virtually everybody in UDA has denied that that is not the idea. That this was the individual idea of one overexcited MP from Fafi. That's what they've told us. But is that believable? When people like this senator from the Rift Valley come out and say Kenyans should look at it, Kenyans should think about it, it's going to be a discussion for the future. I think you get what I mean. And therefore, it should not be surprising that more and more people are jumping into that bandwagon that believes this government is going to be very dictatorial, if it isn't already. That is the feeling of Kenyans on the ground. Let's tell the truth. But the big question for Kenyans who are not supporting either side of the political divide, who did not vote for either side of the political divide, the big question is, will this government manage to achieve something that will change the lives of Kenyans, that will benefit Kenyans? That is the big question and the worry, because Kenyans want things to happen fast. Now, the truth of the matter is that even dictatorial governments have achieved quite a lot in history. Muammar Gaddafi in Libya achieved quite a lot, and his government was very dictatorial. Singapore, powerful financial Singapore, got to where it is today, courtesy of a benevolent dictator. That is the truth. Even Adolf Hitler, believe it or not, did one or two things that have stood the test of time. Let me give you a quick example, and let me start with a question. Which is the car that has sold the most units in history? The answer is a German make, Volkswagen, VW, which sold, wait for this one, over 21 million units. No other comic has surpassed that particular mark, or even come anywhere near. Of course, it is true that Toyota Corolla, in 12 generations of different models here and there, have managed to recently surpass the 50 million vehicles sold mark. However, the VW remained unchanged, and sold 21 million units. It's quite a record. Now, in case you didn't know, Volkswagen would never have existed without the initiative of Adolf Hitler. You see, Bwana Hitler wanted a cheap car for the masses, and that's how VW was formed. And you may call it ugly, but there are so many things which are very special about the Beetle. For instance, the technology of having an air-cooled engine as opposed to an engine which is cooled mainly by water or coolant. Nobody ever came near developing that technology beyond what was done in the 40s. Can you imagine that? Amazing feat. And all this came from a dictator, a dictatorial government. Now, don't get me wrong. Despite those solid facts I've put on the table, the truth is, this is Kenya. And this is now. Hey, a dictatorial government will not fly in the country called Kenya. The circumstances in the country, our recent history, will not allow it. And therefore, if there are any achievements, they'd better be very quick achievements. Because where we have reached as a country today is not sustainable. It is not, and it cannot work. But that's my opinion. You're free to have yours. Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.